left, give and we give thanks for all good things around us are sent from Zion above. So we praise for right for all his love, his divine love, his sincere love. Give thanks definitely as we are in the realms of Livity, and definitely we give thanks for this divine opportunity. Um, we are, just giving thanks that we could be here with you this evening live on HDS, which is our live program, Livity, every Tuesday evening from 9 to 10 p.m. and also live with you on Instagram and also live with you on Facebook. So give thanks for all those people who are with us this evening, and definitely give thanks for all those people right here in St. Lucia who are with us this evening. And definitely we do give thanks for this divine and precious opportunity to actually be able to share space with you. So glorify, do give thanks for life. As we know, definitely right now in St. Lucia and the rest of the world, lots of people are actually, I would say, mourning the death of Queen Elizabeth. And right now, even in the world, we now, even in St. Lucia, we are suffering from the actions of even wars that we are not even a part of, because we are what would be called what you call a not colonialized, but we are still part of the Commonwealth, but we don't have any of the wealth, and as a people, the majority of us, our ancestors, actually labored for hundreds and hundreds of years in plantation and in servitude, and suffered the worst manner of treatment that you could actually imagine. So even while I just saw this news clip on HTS News with this sister who said that she went to this farm in Canada, and she was very upset that they were treated like animals. As far as she was saying that somebody was even kicked, and we're supposed to remember that it was only in 1848 that we actually were emancipated from that type of slavery, that physical slavery within the Caribbean region. So if you add 100 years to it, it would be 1948, and then if you add another 100 to it, it would be probably like 2038 or some kind of thing on that line there. But at the end of the day, it is just about 2 centuries and a little bit. Some of our grandparents had lived to 100. They would have known somebody who was in servitude, who was actually on the plantation working as what you'd call a slave at that time. So when we examine even our present predicament in the region, whereby our healthcare system, our commerce, our banks, even the banks within St. Lucia and thing, you must go through a bank in America or a bank, some other kind of bank in England, just for our banks to be able to do certain types of transactions. The type of economic, I'll say castration, the type of laws that they put upon our financial institutions, just to prevent us as a people from actually prospering. When you understand that the people living in the Caribbean region, St. Lucia, Antigua, Dominica, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, when slavery was abolished, when what you call chattel slavery for profit, when that was abolished, the slave masters were actually paid. So there was like 40 million pounds sterling that was actually used to pay. That's Queen Victoria gave, 40, million pounds sterling was paid to the slave owners who actually lost through the emancipation of our African brothers and sisters. So when our African brothers and sisters were liberated from chattel slavery, that is, they were treated in subhuman condition. They were kidnapped, brought upon the shores of Africa, traversed the Atlantic Ocean as commodity. So in 1800, and if you add 200 years to 1800, you will get the year 2000. So 200 years ago, people used to be placed upon ships, Africans, just 200 years ago. People used to be placed on ships and bought or stolen, and the cargo on the vessels would be insured. So if it is that you have 500 Africans on a ship or 300 Africans on a ship, these 300 Africans were actually insured cargo. They were commodity. They were not seen as human lives. There were incidences where ships were actually overloaded, and the human cargo of our African brothers and sisters, our ancestors, that were actually stolen from the coast of Africa, they were thrown overboard, and then the ship actually sailed to Liverpool or one of these ports and came and claimed insurance for the lost cargo. So our ancestors were looked upon as what you would call commodity. Commodity. Right? And 200 years ago, our people would have been on the plantation, toiling, not living together as a family, but living in some space that the slave master had actually created. Like you have animal pens, it's not like as if you have a father and you have mother and you have family unit. 200 years ago, we knew nothing of family unit to that extent, whereby we could have been able to live as a family. It was slavery. So the black man was used to breed the black woman. It wasn't like as if the black man and the black woman came together and they wanted to make a family. The owners of these plantations actually would breed. It'd be like take a male and a female, a big muscular male and a female that looks big, and then they breed us as a people, our ancestors. That's how we were treated, like commodity. So when it is that a ship actually sank under commodity, the African brothers and sisters, the lives on that ship were lost. It was claimed via insurance as a commodity. So when it came to 1845 and 1848, when slavery was abolished, that's why they have Emancipation Day that was just celebrated the 1st of August. And during that time, we in St. Lucia did have a 21-day Nyabingi where the Bobo Shanti and the Nyabingi house came together and had like some beautiful services, drum song throughout the universe. And the Jaja and I initiative was an initiative whereby we celebrated towards that whole emancipation. And so our ancestors were freed from chattel slavery, and the people who enslaved them were paid 40 million pounds sterling for the loss of their commodities. And you are talking about, that's the legacy of our colonial masters. After slavery was abolished, we were still colonies of Britain. St. Lucia in particular, there was a war between the British and the French, to control the people on the island and to control the resources of the island. So you're talking about, specifically talking about, in St. Lucia, they say, well, 14 battles. The double seven, 7 times British, 7 times French. War. They're fighting for St. Lucia. So the British, was responsible for a lot of the slavery that we actually went through as a people, all of the sufferation. The Queen of England at that time, Queen Victoria, and all these different queens and kings, coming down to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, all these people there benefited from the slavery and the suffering of our people, right? And up to a day like today, she is the person upon our dollars. And up to a day like today, she still owns the best property on the island. It is still called the Queen's Chain. The Queen's Chain. All beachfront property and all these properties, according to whatever they say, what is the Queen's Chain. And if it is as a people, we understand the legacy of the British Empire upon us as a people, our ancestors. One of the nations who benefited the most from slavery is Britain. And up to a day like today, the British monarchy have never found it necessary to even say, well, I'm sorry, and look to, rubies and pearls that y'all could help with your industry. They paid the slave masters the money for the loss of our ancestors. Give thanks, Empress, for the safe travel. Right? They paid them the money for the loss of our ancestors as a commodity. And they gave the people who worked 400 years for nothing. They gave them nothing at all. They didn't give our ancestors a cent. And then, we're supposed to be independent, and our prime properties, all beachfront properties, called the Queen's Chain. That's the people who had us and our ancestors in slavery and servitude, who cut off the testicles of our fathers and split the bellies of our mothers. That is the legacy of the British Empire. I'm not making it up. There are people like the Tasmanian people that used to live, have communities, and they were destroyed. Every single one of them were killed, destroyed. They don't exist in creation again through the British Empire and the genocide. None of the royalties stepped in and with all the grace and the charm said, stop it now. No, they benefited from the exploitation of the African continent and also the slavery and the servitude of our ancestors. None of them up to a day like today, have come and said, well, St. Lucia, since we had you in servitude for 400 years, we will help you and give and add and subsidize £1 million to your monthly expenditure. So we will be giving you £12 million every year to assist you in your your fiscal responsibilities and to take care of education, and then we'll give you a further 12 million pounds, to assist you in your health and your regenerative aspects because of what our ancestors have done and how we have benefited from it. They never did that. The British Empire never do none of these things. In fact, St. Lucia used to actually be exporting bananas to the UK with preferential treatment, and that was taken away. So why should I mourn the death of the Queen? Who was the head of the legacy, the representative of the head of the legacy of colonializing. So after slavery was abolished, many of these countries were colonies. And look at the state of them now. Colonies. Look at the capital of the United Kingdom, Britain, and look at all the cities and all the different things. And then, right? What about now? What about say, look at the state of Castries City. Look at the state of Castries City. How old and broken down and shabby and thing it looks. Right? Look at the state of the old Kingstown and Kingstown in St. Vincent and all these different areas. Some countries have some, but some countries they are in a state. So even after the slavery was abolished, our people were still colonialized. They were still under the guise of emancipation, but yet still Britain, right, was still there as the head that runs everything. Then just recently, I was born already, I was born already. Right? It is in 1980, 81, 82, 83. St. Lucia began to go through associated states and do all in different type of thing. 1970s going up. That is when our country started to come and they say, well, they get independence, So when I was born like a British citizen in St. Lucia. And I was born in 1977. The 2 sevens. So when I was born a British citizen in St. Lucia. And I don't have the benefits of the British. You know what I mean? I never have that kind of privilege that whatever benefits come to the person in Britain. We never get that. When emancipation, we still were colonies, right? Then independence. When the countries were given the independence, what was given to our politicians and our administrators to say, well, we are giving you this type of assistance to help with your health care, your educational system, or infrastructure, or transportation, or technology and advancement. In agriculture, nothing. And we say, well, give thanks still that our leaders, right? Give thanks still that our leaders, were able to actually bring a level of development into the region, even being given so little. We have to give thanks for that still, because some of our leaders they really try, some of them are sellouts, but some of our leaders actually try and they really want to do good, but some of them are sellouts. That's just how it is. Not everybody is going to be good, and at the end of the day, some people are, whatever, So when I look at it and I examine it and I examine the legacy of brutality, the legacy of robbery, the legacy, you know, and yet still St. Lucia still has a governor general that represents the Queen. And when you go to the court, after all these years, you know, we are in 2022. When you go to the court, I think we just celebrated 40 years. When you go to the court, you still see a big picture of the Queen and it's Her Majesty's court. And then it's still Her Majesty's police force. So even the police force in St. Lucia still belongs to the Queen. And then we get the prisons, is Her Majesty's prisons. So if it's Her Majesty's police force and it's Her Majesty's court, why is it that Her Majesty did not pay the salaries of all the police and all these different people? And then why is it that they're not in the prison and we are in the prison? It's their prison, they should go in the prison. You know, so then she still has the Queen's chain. And when I look at it, I say, well, what type of people are we to be even accepting such calamities? And then when it is that individual die, then people supposed to be mourning, you know? So if it is that somebody came to your home, or someone paid somebody to go to your home, right? Take all your beautiful furniture, all your jewelry and everything, and kidnap your family and take them and bring them to their farm or someplace to go and work for them for years, and the children and the children. And if that person die, you're gonna cry or you're gonna mourn their death after their legacy has been a legacy of treachery, you know, to our people. Well, nobody asked me for my opinion. I'm just expressing myself. So it's not like as if somebody asked me. Nobody come and say, Priest, what do you think about, you know, the death of Her Majesty, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II? Nobody asked me. So I'm just expressing. I'm saying, well, I cannot mourn the death of the Queen. You know, I cannot mourn the death of the Queen. Maybe the president of a country, I won't put my flag half-mast, no. These people that were responsible for a lot of grief and trauma, the legacy was one of destruction, and up to a day like today, they've never apologized. So the first thing that King Charles, His Majesty King Charles II, is it, or the third? He was crowned as. He has to come and apologize, you know, and start selling all jewelries that they've robbed, and start to pay back, you know, all these African people in the diaspora. We see diaspora, we die in pora, you know. They have to come and they have to start paying back, right? They have to come and they have to start paying back. They have to pay forward. Everything that they have taken, they're supposed to definitely come, you know, and start saying, well, they are going to contribute, right? That they are going to contribute towards the upliftment of us as a nation of people. So if it is that he has anything good to say, Right now, what he has to come and say is come and say, well, my beloved people of St. Lucia, I sincerely apologize, for the atrocities that my ancestors perpetuated, for all the harm that mommy did, and I have come to actually make it better for you. I have come to actually pay back. I'm gonna help you to in research with healthcare because I'm an environmentalist and I love the environment. So I'm going to help to give you water and food security and ensure that the nation actually prospers. And those of you who were kidnapped and from your homes in Africa, who wants to go back, then I will also help you to go to Africa and give you whatever wages that you would have made or your ancestors would have made for the years upon years upon the years upon years of servitude. Then you will be making some sense. Anything else you come in and talk about doesn't make any sense. Anything else that you going to come and talk about would not be making any sense, because if Her Majesty the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, did not do it, you, honorable brother, should at least come and do it and say, well, that you want that to be your legacy. Your legacy has to be a legacy whereby you are fixing the damage caused by your ancestors and the legacy of the monarchy, And if you come and say something that sort, then I would say, yeah, no, that's a man. If not, given a chance, you would still kidnap us as a people again and have us working for free, and exploit us and steal all of our gems and all of our crowns and all of our rubies and pearls and destroy people, kill like people, genocide, wipe out specific people that we'll never be able to see again. Right? With the Mau Mau people in Kenya, who won reparations, right? The concentration camps the British actually had in Kenya. I'm talking about concentration camps where our ancestors, our people were, I'm talking about just recently, where our people were held in concentration camps in Kenya by the British. So why, as a people, we're supposed to mourn? Yes, diplomatically, you could acknowledge and make a diplomatic protocol and from heads of government to heads of government. But we're not supposed to be mourning, We're supposed to be putting our demands to the new person that comes and say, well, since your predecessor didn't find it necessary to correct the wrongs of your ancestors, I would think that you coming in now would have the balls to actually get that thing done, So I give thanks for life and the mighty life giver, and I give thanks that anything that happened has to be for the upliftment and the benefit of us as a people, and until the people who were fundamentally responsible for our chastisement and for our brutality and for our exploitation even find them in their heart, to come and reason with us and say, we acknowledge our wrongs and we're willing to give back, then you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. So I give thanks for this opportunity, and I give thanks for life and a mighty life given. And I felt the need to express, my feelings when it comes to how our people have actually dealt with us as a people, and then we're supposed to just smile and shake hands and in all the pomp and the glory, man. Right? What have they done for us? You know, what are they doing after exploiting the lands? After hundreds of years of slavery, you know, nothing they gave us. They paid 40 million pounds. They just finished, paid that loan just recently, less than 10 years ago. The British government finished pay the loan that they actually took just recently. I think less than a decade ago, they finished pay the loan that the United Kingdom took to pay the slave masters after the emancipation of slavery. They just finished paying that less than a decade ago. So it's not about some far thing and they gave us nothing. So right now, it's the opportunity that they have to come and make it right. You know, come and sit down with us in St. Lucia. You know, come and sit down with the Prime Minister of St. Lucia and tell him, you know, don't come all high and pompous, you know, Your Majesty, you know. You come and then you come with humility and understanding and come and sit in the dust with us and acknowledge the wrongdoings and then say, I, His Majesty King Charles II or the third, I think, which one of them, right? I've come to make it right. You know, I can see the levels of the youths in the country, how economically we've been suffering, you know, and the sicknesses of our sick, the elders and the poor and the have-nots. I've come to make it right, you know. So I'm putting this forward to start to do immediately, and this forward to start to do immediately, and you want all the debt that you have for us, we just forgive that. Don't worry about that again. You don't have to pay anything for that. Okay, what else? So, all right, whatever it is that you produce, we're gonna buy it even before it is produced, and whatever way it is, we're gonna pay for it. We're gonna help you with this, and we're gonna help you with that, and we're gonna help you, and we're gonna help. Yeah, so that is the kind of conversation. And then for you, you that wants to go home to Africa, whatever you've lost for the 400 years, for the 600 years, we are going to give it to you and help you to establish and do whatever you want to do in Africa. You know, with your brothers and your sisters, and we're sorry and we want to make it right. Then you would see that there is a bit of repentance. And I would say that any one of the people that's looking on, that is from St. Lucia, from our preachers, our priests in the Catholic Church, our pastors in the Adventist, the Anglican, the Pentecostal, you know, and any of these how you call these people there again, even those Jehovah's Witness people, everybody's supposed to say, yes, my brother, you know, with repentance you have to acknowledge your sin, you know, and then make it right. All right, so there is that opportunity that exists to make it right, because we didn't bring ourselves down here in the West, you know. So why is it that we're brought down in the West and we are forced to actually do all these things in the West, and you kidnap us, our ancestors, bring us down here, you know, force us to labor for 400 years, afterwards colonialize us, you know, then you give us independence, and then you still have a governor general that represents you in our country. The prison is Her Majesty's prison. The police force is Her Majesty's police force. The court is Her Majesty's court. The best property, every piece of land that is in front of the sea, that borders the seashore, the sea line, they call it the Queen's Chain. Come on. Come on. And you're supposed to care about us. You don't care about any of us. You don't care about making us prosper. You're supposed to give that to the ancestors of all the people of testicles that you all clipped, and all the bellies of the black woman you all ripped open, and all the billions and trillions of dollars that was made on the free labor of our ancestors. I believe that, in my humble opinion, that's the way the conversation's supposed to be going. And if that's not the conversation, then we're not having a conversation. You're just another colonial master, just in your pomp and your thing and your nice words, just speaking, but yet still you're not even acknowledging through mere being a humanity, right, and justice, right? Acknowledge the deeds, the evil deeds of the people before you, and then attempt to even make it right. Let's have that type of conversation. Give thanks for all those of you who are with us this evening, all those of you on Instagram, the gram, or give thanks for you and all those of you on the tube. I have not been given any shout out because I have just been in the realms, speaking of how I see it. Yes, give thanks, Zim Zim, give thanks from Jamaica, blessed love, God's gift, blessed love. Give thanks, Annie Marie, Donna Anderson, Honorable from Canada, Toronto, give thanks. Irina, give thanks. King God, give thanks. Michelle McDonald, give thanks. ST, decolonization is needed throughout the Caribbean. A lot of our streets here in Trinidad is named after racist and past slave owners. How do we decolonize the Caribbean? Now. Send him a letter. Okay, you send him the letter if you think a letter needs to be sent. I just sent him the letter in the universe already. He's gonna hear it. The Herbs, Miss Love, give thanks. J Red Music, I respect Sir, Montreal. Give thanks for all those of you on Instagram, Heart of Love. Give thanks. Jamie Albert Bro, give thanks. Yes, it is Deep Vibes. Dusha Kush Tutod, give thanks. May your voice be heard. Yes, let our voice be heard. All of our voice, may it all be heard. Yes, FS180, give thanks. Honorable, blessed love to the I and your family. Thank you for initiating this topic and bring forward all this to the forefront. I share your sentiments in regards. Yes, so we do give thanks for life, and we give thanks to the mighty life giver, and we give thanks for going forward. Yes, Lisa Wright 497, give thanks, Honorable Heart of Love to the I. So open up the lines. Anyone who wants to now, for the last, we have about 15 minutes remaining, so the lines are open. So if you want to give us a call, you give us a call. If you want to say something on Instagram when it comes to your health and your wellness, and the reason why we are not well is not just because we are not well, because we went through 400 years of starch, of eating intestines and animal skins and hinds and, living in deplorable conditions, man. So our wellness is not just because of what has happened yesterday. Our wellness is because we were fed with salted flesh, right, for years, and intestines and hooves and tails and all type of the worst part that massa would throw away is what would be salted and given to us. So when we have high blood pressure and diabetes and all these different things now, it's not just because of our doing, it's because of 600 years, and up to a day like today, we still eat the same crap that was fed to us by our massa, and then we call it our national dish, green fig and saltfish, ackee and saltfish and all type of things. When we know that the nitrites in the saltfish is very carcinogenic. And we have to just understand that whatever that we have inherited as a people is coming out of slavery and servitude, and we have to rise up against that. And one of the key ways of rising up is actually just freeing yourself from all the memories of servitude and all the colonial vestige, and all these different types of things. We have to get away from them things there and burn a fire on it, definitely, and say, why should we just focus on medicines from the same people who actually enslaved us? Why don't we use our creativity and our ingenuity to actually create our own medicines? Don't we have the scientific aptitude? Don't we have the capacity to do it ourselves as a people? Do we have to depend on them? Or we hold them to the highest standard? The highest standard. So when they bring something to us, it has to be brought at the highest standard. Don't give our people the chicken back that have been in containers for 20 years. That's what you ship down to our country. The worst level of everything, that's what you ship down to our country. All the pesticides that has been banned in America and banned in the UK that cannot be used in the UK, they still use it down here in St. Lucia. You'd be looking at on your television, right? You look at CNN and Bibi Blind, and the Fox, and all these different people, right? And you would see commercials coming of side effects and withdrawals, of drugs that have been pulled up the shelf. And them same drugs, you'd find out that years upon years afterwards, they are still being prescribed in a lot of our countries. Why don't we hold these criminals accountable when it is that they try to do certain things to us as a people? Why don't we ensure that the quality, look at Martinique, that's the neighbor of St. Lucia. Martinique was using pesticides that were banned in France. So Martinique is like a colony of France. So Martinique is France. El Paris is the capital of Martinique. Isn't that true, my sister? What's the capital of Martinique? All you Martinicans and all these different people there on Instagram and on YouTube, those of you in St. Lucia. Who is the president of Martinique? Macron. Yeah, president of Martinique is the man in French. They're in Paris, So Saint Martin and all these different French colonies, Martinique is an island that neighbors St. Lucia. Martinique, Guadeloupe, all these different islands in the Caribbean Sea are still owned by the French. That's what I'm talking about. And they are using pesticides in these countries that are illegal. Right? And it's illegal to use them in El Paris. But you could use it in Martinique and Saint Martin and Guadeloupe. And now you cannot even go and fish on the coastline of Martinique because of the amount of toxins in the ocean and the high incidences of cancer that are in these countries. Fort-de-France is the capital of Martinique, but the capital of Martinique is Paris. It's not Fort-de-France. Martinique is just a little country still run by... You all have a president? You don't have a president and things. They could just send the military down on you anytime. And most of the police in Martinique and Saint Martin is white people. They send on police. The people of country full of black people and it's just white police. Not policing them. That's how it is in these countries. I'm just telling you how it is. So it's not like it's not like these countries they're blossoming. Look at you have Dutch Saint Martin, right? You have Dutch Saint Martin, okay? Dutch Saint Martin is run by the Dutch, by Holland. Cannabis is legal in Holland, right? You have all these coffee shops and Dutch Saint Martin, it's illegal. You know what foolishness? Whatever, man. If these people there, so you could see whereas if our people just still living in that state. So definitely the lines are open. Those of you who want to call, I'm not talking about bellyache and tummy ache and whatever it is that I was talking about. So most of you, you just there silent and don't want to call. But I think it is an interesting topic, and it's something that people should actually make their voices heard. They say because, right, of the silence of the voice of justice, wickedness shall prosper. So because a lot of people open up their mouth and say nothing at all, right, wickedness prospering. So the lines are open. Yes. So our topic is a peculiar topic, and I'm going to put the number to call on Instagram. So those of you from over there who might want to give a call, I'm going to just pin the number. You could call also 175-845-22693. That's the telephone number. It's pinned right here. If you want to call, you could actually just give us a call and make us know how it is. So when it comes to fixing our healthcare system, we need help. Yeah, we need help. Right? So that means that And that help us to come both through agriculture, education, and science. Yes, Scholar, blessed. Honorable. Yeah, just pass by Livity on Jeremy Street and definitely they'll assist you. Alright, give thanks. Yes, give thanks. The lines are open 17584522693. Those of you who for pertinent question with regards to our topic, definitely you could give us a call. We have about 7 more minutes. Don't be a coward. I know you there watching. You could just call and say something. Don't be a coward. It's better to die a hero, a brave man, than to live as a coward. Yeah, it's much better, man. You want to live as a coward and then you live life and you live years upon years upon years as a coward and then you die as a coward. A long life as a coward when you could just live a fulfilled life as a brave man. Yes, the lines are open. Those of you who actually want to give us a call, definitely could give us a call. And as we say, to take us out of that level of sickness that we are in, all those people responsible for our position are the people who kept us in slavery for over 400 years. The British Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Portuguese Empire, the French Empire, the Dutch, all these people there, responsible for keeping us into servitude. The Arabs, for a lot of years, so they themselves have to, for the wickedness that they have committed, they have to apologize for it. Then they have to come and they have to compensate for it. So yes, we have to do for ourselves, and we are doing for ourselves. But with these evils that have been perpetuated, these people, they have to actually pay for it. So I'm saying that even His Majesty, King Charles the second, I think he has been crowned, should come in and talk to our Honorable Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre and see what he can do to assist St. Lucia through whatever has been done for colonialization. Yes, I'm caller, blessed. Yes, Honorable. Truly. Give thanks. Give thanks, Honorable. Give thanks, beloved, for that mighty strength. Rastafari, blessed. Give thanks for the beloved sister who call and give that strength and say, well, the pipe must burst with pressure. So definitely, it's a time that, as a people, that we should just, come and stand strong together, and definitely, even our leaders, our prime ministers, our ministers, our people, have to, even as the new leadership has come through the British Crown head right now, should begin to demand certain things, they could only say yes or no, but at the end of the day, your legacy. Don't expect people to just come and hug and kiss and cry and them type of things. When the legacy of the British Empire have been one of brutality. Do you think St. Lucia will become a republic despite talks about reparations? We need to rise up as a collective. Definitely, the growth. If there is a space for growth, the growth only leads to one thing, and we just have to do what we have to do. As the sister said, lead by example. So look within ourselves, see how we are within ourselves, and begin to actually embrace what we have as a people. And even in our field, when it comes to the aspects of herbal medicine, The herbs is what our ancestors actually utilized to keep themselves well for hundreds and hundreds of years. They had no access to no medical establishment. They were in the plantation and then they had to utilize the herbs to actually keep themselves well. To the extent that even like documented at Cave Hill Campus, University of the West Indies in Barbados, historically that it came on, even if that the ancestors were denied of healthcare, they created their own herbal medicine um, pharmacy, to the extent that when Massa was sick, it's they themselves that took care of Massa, until they began to rebel and even poison some of the slave masters. So that is why herbs and herbal medicine was actually thought to be like witchcraft and all these different aspects, because these people were the people that was taking care of their own within the communities when it comes to the time of slavery, when our ancestors were in servitude. So give thanks definitely for the time has come to re-embrace our ancient traditions, and even as everyone, whether you are herbalist or acupuncturist or reflexologist or medical doctor, whatever you are, as long as your objective is for the upliftment and for the betterment of the people, then there will be light, there will be a betterment and upliftment. And it is for us now as a people to put in our resources together and coming together and to create a significant change that is basically leading towards the upliftment of people, right? So anyone that is for the betterment of people, of humanity, human being, no matter your race, your class, or your creed, as long as you are for the upliftment of humanity, yeah, man, I love that, because humanity is what we have to uplift, and if it is that you have done wrong to humanity and you get an opportunity, you apologize, and with apology comes when it comes compensation, and you have to make it right. So if you step on somebody's toe and you dirty their shoe, you say you sorry, you pardon me, then clean it. So then you have actually compensated, you have made it right. So if I'm saying that with all the atrocities perpetuated against us as a people, the new king of England right now, King Charles II, has an opportunity to make it right, to come and basically, look at all the evil that his ancestors, the monarchy, has actually endorsed all over the years. All the genocidal wars that they fought, all the Tasmanian people they destroyed and killed and vanquished. Where are the Caribs and the Iraqs that were in the Caribbean? Where are these people? So let us as a people come together and uplift ourselves and hold on tight to what is ours. So we are saying again that why is it that it is Her Majesty's prisons, Her Majesty's police force, Her Majesty's court, and why is it still that all the best lands in St. Lucia are still owned by the Queen? And right now it's going to be the King's chain, not the Queen's chain, the King's chain, right? Why? And these are the same people who oppressed us, whose legacy was one of oppression, dominion, servitude, slavery, and have never came and apologized and attempted to actually make it right by putting funds and things in place that people could use it to liberate and uplift themselves. So now is the time that these people, they are held accountable, and you coming in brand new, coming out with a brand new talk, any other talk, don't really make any sense to us or for our upliftment. What is it that's going to be said for the upliftment of the people who were oppressed by the legacy of the empire or the crown head of Britain, which has not changed? The figure has changed, but it has not changed. So give thanks for all those of you who were with us this evening. Give thanks for those of you on Instagram, those of you on YouTube, those of you on HTS. And definitely our time is up. And we know that, no headache thing, nothing at all. So you're afraid to actually call and give a word. But definitely, I know that you will listen. And that the words will sink into your heart. And definitely it will actually touch your heart and make you move in the way you're supposed to move. All heart of love, peace, perfect peace in this dark world of sin, The voice of Negus brings us peace within. Jah Rastafari. Let's have a